Do I have a story for you guys today? If you're reading the title of this video, then you know that I had a bad experience with an Airbnb. And I want to preface the video by saying I normally love Airbnb. I have stayed at least 10 Airbnbs, if not more. I've never really had a bad experience. Usually it's pretty good, hence why I use it all the time. I prefer, honestly, to stay at an Airbnb instead of a hotel. I just find that it's much nicer usually for the money, and I always have a good time. Basically, John's friends came down to visit, and so they came down to our end, and kind of John showed them around while I was working. So I was kind of bummed that I didn't get to hang out with them, and they ended up going back because they had a long drive, so they couldn't really stick around and drink, and we had told them they could stay over, but they had just gotten there, so they wanted to check into the hotel and everything. So it was like one of the only nights that we would be able to do something with them. So John and I got to talking, and we were like, oh my god, I wonder if they would want us to go there to Orlando for the night, and we could all hang out tonight, and like we'll drive back in the morning. And so that was the plan. We were going to stay at the same hotel as them, but they didn't allow dogs, and we can't leave Mr. Bean alone. So we couldn't leave him overnight, and so I started looking at Airbnbs because I know a lot of the times when we bring him along, it's not an issue. So I was looking at like 5 o'clock at night, and I probably should have known that anything that's left at 5 o'clock at night on the same night that you're booking is probably not going to be the best experience. But I had, like I said, I've had only good experiences with Airbnb in the past, so I found this place that was like, in total, with like the cleaning fee, they had like a $40 cleaning fee, that was going to be $121. And like everywhere else we looked for a hotel was more because it was like last minute, you know what I mean? So we're like, okay, well, it's a private entrance, so we can bring our dog, so we'll just get this Airbnb. So since it was only for one night, we weren't that concerned about if it was like the nicest place in the world. And from the pictures, it didn't look that bad. It didn't. It just looked like a room. Nothing was like super updated or anything, but it said that they had air conditioning, and it said they had a TV, and it said they had a bathroom, and that's pretty much all we needed. We didn't really need a lot more stuff, and it did say private entrance. And so most of the places that I've stayed that are a private entrance are like their own place off of somebody's house, maybe like a guest room with a private entrance. So I was kind of expecting it to be at somebody's house with a private entrance. Well, we pull up, it's probably like 9 o'clock at night, and we pull up, and this place was a little bit sketchy. So we pull up, it's like a white concrete building with like white bars for like the gates, and we were just like, eee, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not somebody's house. So we pull into the driveway. There was actually like another car in the driveway, and it was a BMW, so it wasn't like, you know, a piece of shit car. And nothing's wrong with a piece of shit car. I used to have one too, but it made me feel a little bit more comfortable that there was this car in the driveway that wasn't a total shitbox, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe this is their place and they rent out like a room in the back, because it looked like a duplex. So we had to go like around back. They had like a little fence, and you went around back, and it was a duplex, so whatever was in the front, or someone's apartment or whatever was in the front. We walked to the back, we went in the side door. It was like a open like brick patio area, and then like it was a sliding door to get in where we needed to get in. And so we walk in, and there wasn't a lot of lights on, so I turn to my right, there's 2 dimmer switches on the wall. So I start doing those, and nothing happens. And I'm like, okay, where's the light switch? So we're walking around trying to find the light switch. We found like 2 lights that ended up working, and it was okay. But I go in the bathroom, and there's no bathroom light. Like, we turn on the light bulbs, there's nothing. There was like a hole in the wall where there was like the light bulb was supposed to be, but there was no light bulb. So John had to go and get a light bulb from a different lamp in the room and screw that in. Like, already starting off on a bad foot here. So he gets the light working. I'm like, whatever, I really don't care. Like, I'm not that picky when it comes to these kind of situations. Like, I'm really not like a snob like that. Like the last Airbnb I stayed at, it was like $60 a night, and it was beautiful, and it was like a cozy little room. I loved it. I'm not picky about that, but this place was like run down. All of a sudden I realized that the air conditioner is not on, and I'm like, what the hell? So I look, and the air conditioner and the television are plugged into an extension cord that is hanging. You know how some weird places have like plugs, like outlets up by the ceiling? This one had one of those, and it was an extension cord hanging down on the wall, and the air conditioner and the television were both plugged into that extension cord, which was operated by the dimmer switch that we had tried to use when we walked in, because it's a dimmer switch. It's meant for a light bulb, not for two huge appliances. So I don't know if it blew a fuse when we tried to turn the light on. I don't know. They should probably put a note, don't touch this or something. It's a light switch. So I don't know. We walk in and we just automatically did that. But so then I'm seeing the AC needs to be on because we're about to leave our dog, and we're not going to leave the dog in a hot room with no air conditioning. So the TV's not working. We're like, whatever, we're not even going to be here. Not a huge deal, but the air conditioner should work. Like, that's important. And so we call the guy and we tell him about the air conditioner, and he is like, oh, that's weird, it should be working. And I'm like, yeah, well, the extension cord that is hanging from the ceiling, it's not working. And it wasn't. Like, the TV didn't work when it was plugged into that, and the air conditioner didn't work when it was plugged into that. So I ended up moving the air conditioner to a different like spot and plugging it into a different plug, and it worked. So obviously the extension cord that was connected to the dimmer was the problem, and I'm like, okay, whatever, like, we can't watch TV tonight. I don't care that much about this, but it's kind of annoying that that these amenities are listed when they're like set up. It's like a giant fire hazard, hanging from the ceiling like that. And so we just unplugged it and had the AC on only. And so after having to deal with all of that, we realized this when we first walked in, but it was like giving me a headache at this point, that this place stunk like a urinal cake. Like, it stunk. Like, I don't even know. So we looked in the toilet, and it's like that blue, it was so blue I couldn't even see the bottom. I think either they had like a urinal, one of those like urinal cakes or something in the toilet, like stuck to the side, or it was like really strong, like janitor grade, I don't know, blue shit that smelled horrible. It smelled so bad. And it was a studio, so the whole apartment place stunk like this. And I was like, oh my god, what is that? And John's like, yeah, that's like the smell from a urinal cake. It's disgusting. So I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to get out of here. John's outside, and he comes back inside, and he's like, that was really weird. And I said, what? And he said that he was outside by the car and getting stuff out of the car, and the front door opened to the duplex, and this guy walks out with his like pants down to his knees, and he's like staring at John while he's like getting stuff out of the car. And so John like looks at him, and he's like, hello. And the guy goes, what the hell are you doing here? And John, like, trying to like intimidate John or something in the driveway. And John's like, I'm staying here. Like, I'm staying at the Airbnb. And he was like, and he like gave him a really weird look and walked inside. John comes in and tells me this, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, why are people questioning why we're here? Like, are these people like living there and they don't know that this is an Airbnb? Like, I just think that's very inappropriate for guests to be treated that way. So I texted the host, and I said, like, some guy just asked us what we're doing here, like, what's up with that? He made us feel pretty uncomfortable, like, I don't understand. And then I could like hear them talking in through the wall, and they were like, sounded like angry. And the guy ended up speeding off in his car, which was really sketchy. I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, I feel like we're like interrupting a drug deal or something. It was so weird. And so at that point, I'm like, I don't think I want to stay here anymore. Like, the amenities and stuff, like being all over the place, that's one thing, but like people being like aggressive towards us for staying and paying to stay at an Airbnb, that's a little too much for me. Like, I'm sorry, not worth my time. I don't know. I just felt like it was really uncalled for. And so I ended up calling the host and he just said, "Oh, that's strange." And I said, "Yeah, it is strange. Do they live here or something?" And he said, "Oh no, those are other guests." So apparently the guy owns the entire building and rents it out to anybody. I don't know. And I said, "Well, you should tell people that there's going to be more than one guest," because he was kind of being like aggressive and asking us why we were here and like trying to intimidate my boyfriend. And he said, "Oh, I did tell them that." I'm like, "Oh, that's great." Like, so they just don't care and they are just going to be rude to us. Like, I just felt so weird. And so we kind of were like, well, I don't know what to do. We didn't really want to stay there at that point with all this nasty shit going on. It was just like not turning out to be a good situation. So we left being there and I felt so bad about it and I was so stressed out leaving him there. I'm like, what if he barks and what if like it pisses him off and they like, I don't know, I was just so worried like something was gonna happen to him. Because they were like yelling through the wall, so Bean would hear them and he would kind of like bark. What if something happens to him? Like, I'm so stressed out. Like, we went to Topgolf with our friends and they were like, "You should just stay with us," even though we weren't like allowed to bring the dog there. They had like sort of their own villa, so unless the dog was like barking like crazy, you wouldn't know he was there. I texted the guy once more because he hadn't answered me the first time. And I said that, you know, I think we're gonna not stay here, like we feel uncomfortable and just everything. I didn't really say at that point that everything hadn't been what we thought it was gonna be and like all the amenities were messed up. I wasn't gonna say that, but I just kind of said, just to let you know, we feel uncomfortable staying here, so we're actually not gonna stay here tonight. Hope you can understand. And then we did end up bringing the dog to our friend's place. And it was fine. We did wake up in the middle of the night to 2 people fighting in the parking lot, so that was another great thing. Don't think I'll be ever going back to Kissimmee, Florida again. So we go back with our Uber and our friends to our little Airbnb, and when we get there, the Uber driver's like, "Why the hell are you in this area? Like, are you trying to get killed?" And I was like, apparently I am. So I don't know, because he said we were in like one of the worst areas near Orlando that we could have possibly been in. He said the neighborhood was really bad, and he literally let us take our dog's crate and put it in his Uber because he was like, "I need to help you get the fuck out of here." So at that point, we're like super glad that we made that decision. And I was like, I'm definitely gonna pursue a refund in the morning. We're not even staying there. We didn't even use any of their shit. Like, nothing worked. And we obviously didn't shower there. We didn't even lay in the bed. Like, we weren't even there. Our dog was sleeping in his crate. So I just felt like we didn't deserve to pay for what we received. So we stay that night. It's fine. We go back in the morning. I reached out to them to try to pursue a refund. They don't answer me. I then reach out to Airbnb. I don't get an answer. It was Sunday. I don't know if they work on Sundays. So on Monday, the Airbnb reaches out to me and says that they are going to reach out to the hosts and see if they will provide a refund. Because it was $120 for like not even staying there. I mean, I just felt like we should have gotten a refund for that. So Airbnb reaches out to them, and of course they never answered my inquiry about that, but they, I guess, said to Airbnb that they would not provide a refund. So I don't know, the guy couldn't answer me, but he had no problem answering Airbnb. Really great host. Again, don't stay in Kissimmee, Florida. And if you do stay in Kissimmee, Florida, don't stay in a studio. You'll find the one, I'm sure, with a review from your girl, Meg. So if you want to look for it, go for it. But these people are fucking assholes, and I'll get into that. So Airbnb is telling me they won't give me a refund and that they would give me $100 travel credit. And I was like, I'm really disappointed with that result, seeing as I've stayed at like a ton of Airbnbs and I've never had a bad thing to say until this one time, and we didn't even stay there because it was that bad. And I was like, you know what, if that's the only option, then I will accept it. And they ended up saying, you know what, I believe you, because I do see like you have good reviews and you've never had a problem before, so we will give you $100 back. So we only had to, in the end, pay like $21. So that wasn't bad, and I was happy with that result. So I wasn't even going to leave them a review, but I logged on to my reviews and I noticed that I had a new one. I had a new one. So that's funny. That's when Meg starts to get pissed the fuck off, is when people start making shit up. I don't like that. No, I don't. I was like really tempted to text them and tell them to fuck off, but I just didn't. I need to, you know, just do that on my YouTube channel. So fuck you if you're watching this. Okay. What did they say? Okay. They said, not a good experience. She had an altercation with a very nice guest, switched off the power to the TV, and then said it did not work. Brand new TV, in quotes. That shit was not brand new. Nothing in that apartment, studio, whatever, was brand new at all. Said bathroom light did not work. It worked. Yeah, because we had to take a light from another light bulb in the place and screw it in, and then wanted a refund. Thumbs down. I replied, when we arrived, my boyfriend was approached by a sketchy man from the duplex asking him why we were there. My boyfriend came in and told me I did not speak to this person, and instead I called you and told you this, and now you're spinning it on me and calling it an altercation. I did not even speak to this person. Your other guests were confronting us for being there, which then made us uncomfortable and we ended up leaving. The TV and the air conditioner were attached to an extension cord that was hanging from the ceiling. It didn't work because that's way too much power coming from one source. It's a fire hazard. We took a light bulb from the lamp to screw into the light in the bathroom because there wasn't any. I've never had a bad Airbnb experience before. Lying when you get a bad review will get you nowhere in life. Fuck you. Because honestly, it's like, I had seen that this place had 3 reviews before I stayed there. I should have mentioned this in the beginning. And 2 of them were like, they were nice. And then the other one was like, great for one night. And then the 3rd review said, I checked out the next morning because of the unclean and rundown environment. And they wrote like a horrible review back saying like, you're a scam artist. Like, you asked for all these things and we gave it to you, and then you tried to get a refund, scam artist. It's like, they can't take a bad review. And I was like, you have the nerve to leave me a review when you have 3 reviews. So me leaving, I left them a fucking shit show of a review. I pretty much just called out everything I just said, but like more. I mentioned the janitor urinal cake stench coming from the bathroom. Like, I said everything. I'm like, if you guys weren't that dumb, you would have just taken my money, which you fucking did. They would have just been like, oh, we got her money and she didn't even stay here. Wow, good for us. But no, they had to go and leave me a review, which then made me leave them a review. And now they have 2 bad reviews out of 4. Why would you do that? Are you stupid? I don't get it. You have my money. At the end of the day, you're not gonna get much more money because now you have bad reviews out of like 4 reviews on your page. You're stupid. I don't understand why you would do that. So, like I said, I wasn't gonna do anything. I wasn't going to even write them a review. Let me see if I can have John chime in, because I know I can be dramatic, but this was crazy. Guest appearance. So, what happened when...
Gonna be in it?
No.
Here I am.
Okay. So, how ridiculous was the Airbnb experience?
It was unreal. I mean, I just went out to get little Beanie's crate out of the car, and he was just standing in the doorway looking at me. I'm like, so, what's going on? And he just asked me, like, what are you doing here? I'm like, we're just staying here. And he asked me why. I'm like, why are you asking me?
Yeah, I know. It was just like really sketchy and weird, and I just didn't want you guys to think I'm making this shit up, because
nah,
it was ridiculous. And then like everything else with like the urinal cake smell in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then the extension cord and everything. I told them all of that, but that's all true, right?
Yeah. Like, we walk into the bathroom and the light switch, or the bulb was blown, so I had to steal one from a lamp. and then put it in the bathroom so he could see. You tell him it was on a dimmer. That's not.
Yeah,
that's not for that. That's for a light bulb.
I know. I'm not making that shit up.
Yeah.
And like normally, I told them, I was like, normally I have a great time at Airbnbs, but that was one for the books.
Yeah.
And I told you about their review that they left, right?
I just reported it.
You reported it too?
Yeah.
For being like a lie?
Yeah.
Well, I was just laughing that they said I got in an altercation with somebody when I never even talked to the person. Like, what the fuck? Like, way to try to spin that on me.
Yeah.
Just because I told him about it. I, like, told him that happened. He's like, they got in an altercation. It's like, do you know what a fucking altercation is? He just wanted me to look bad, so if in the future, you know, a future host sees it, that they wouldn't host me. And it's gonna hurt you a lot more than it's gonna hurt me, I'll tell you that. I knew, didn't I call that? I was like, he's gonna leave me a horrible review because he did that with the last lady who had a bad experience.
Airbnb should like go into his unit to see how he rigged all the electrical up. It's
not safe. No. But, well, thanks for chiming in. So yeah, that was the crazy Airbnb story from this weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you don't get stuck in a shitty Airbnb. But don't forget to like this video if you did enjoy it. It really helps me out. And also subscribe if you're not subscribed. YouTube likes to unsubscribe people from my channel, and then people realize it and they're like, what the fuck is going on? So don't forget to subscribe if you're not. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.